about the entertainment world. Isn't it just time? Isn't it just time for women to run the planet? I'm not just trying to placate you, I swear. But I don't know what else to do because we, men, we've been running the show since what, 10,000 BC? Something like that. And we're not doing so good. So, please, can you guys just take over?
This is HBR News number 435. Bryan Johnson sued for $9 million. Alex Jones returns, where we discuss the news of the week and give it the Badger treatment. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. Sorry, I don't know why I stumbled over that. I've said it a million times. Welcome to Honey Badger Radio. Hope you guys are doing well and that you're laughing at all of this absurdity so that you're not consumed by it. My name is Brian Martinez, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Hannah Wallen and Dr. Rennercam. Mike J is still unavailable. He is taking care of his grandma, and we should support him for that. So hopefully your Meemaw is doing all right, Mike. Anyway, we have a great show lined up for you guys this week, so please be sure to continue the conversations both in the chat as well as the comment section. On this week's HBR News Show, we're going to be talking about the return of Alex Jones to X, millionaire, and I guess you could say philanthropist, and well, you know, I'm going to get into it later, but his name is Bryan Johnson with a Y, and he is facing allegations and being sued for $9 million by an ex-fiancee. Ricky Vaughn is free for the moment. And more, so stick around, it's going to be a good time. And be sure to join us afterwards for the patron-only show. So, speaking of Alex Jones going back to X, which we're going to be covering shortly, there is an article from the New York Post entitled, "Elon Musk couldn't be more wrong about Alex Jones. He is not a free speech hero. He is a hate speech monster." Written by Piers Morgan, which we're going to be looking at in the patron show. Yeah, I know.
Of course.
This guy, I mean, sometimes he says something that isn't complete brain vomit, but most of the time it's not. It's like I don't know how you live like that. How you're like really stupid 1 minute and
there's a reasonable explanation for everything in this universe except Piers Morgan. Everyone hates Piers Morgan. Yeah, literally right. Everyone. Can anyone are you Piers Morgan's fan? Out there in the comments, if you're Piers Morgan's fan, please write in and tell me what it is you like about Piers Morgan, and I will defy your existence because you don't exist. Literally everyone hates Piers Morgan. He's never done anything but be wrong on almost everything, or at least a dickhead on literally everything. Yeah, and yet he finds work. How do you know?
Said his name so many times you made the cat have a temper tantrum in the background. I heard it.
You hear that, can you? Yeah, even cats hate Piers Morgan.
Yeah, the cat, it might be the Piers Morgan fan. We don't know. I don't know what kind of personality does the cat have. Speaking of pets, Jojo is here as well. He is curled up behind me. Like just doing what dogs do. So, okay. Anyway, so if you want to join us in the patron show and try to understand why Piers Morgan gets work, become a Badger yourself by going to feedthebadger.com and setting up a monthly subscription. $5 a month will get you into our Discord, where you'll be able to watch all kinds of additional content, including all of our patron-only shows. And there's also lots of other stuff going on there. You know, Allison. Most of the community stuff that she does is on the Discord. So, you know, that if you want more Allison and less me, then become a patron and go into the Discord and hang out with Allison. And if you don't want to wake up one morning and find that we have been yeeted from the mainstream internet, then please go to badgerfeed.com badgerfeed.com or honeybadgerradio.com. And that is where all of our content lives. Hope to see you guys there. All right, so let us now, without further delay, we're going to get into the stories. So First things first. After being asked by a few high-profile Twitter accounts and holding a poll, Elon Musk has reinstated Alex Jones to Twitter/X. 70% of the 2 million plus people who responded to the poll posted by Musk indicated that they wanted Jones back on the platform. The move came after Musk seemingly grappled with his stance as a free speech absolutist and his decision to not allow Jones back on the platform after purchasing the company. Musk initially denied Jones' re-entry due to Jones's skepticism about the events surrounding the Sandy Hook mass shooting and Musk having lost his firstborn son to sudden infant death syndrome. Though others have suggested that Musk has brought Jones back to further upset those that he told to go fuck themselves last week, Jones was permanently suspended from Twitter in 2018 when he publicly confronted CNN reporter Oliver Darcy and called him anti-American, rat-like, and less than human. Based. Sorry. Twitter safety team then put out a statement saying that Jones had violated their absolute abusive behavior policy, and due to that and his many other previous violations on the platform, his account was to be banned permanently. Now, before, there was one other thing that I think Mike J may have left out. I think it's an important detail. I think the main thing that spurred on Elon Musk reconsidering this was an interview that Alex Jones did with Tucker Carlson on Tucker Carlson's I guess, show that he does, where he interviews and talks to people that no one else will. And I think that that was probably like a large component. And on that, by the way, another thing that Mike J didn't mention, I don't know if it's because he didn't know or didn't think it was relevant, but Alex Jones went on Tucker Carlson's show. After that, Elon Musk considered bringing him back on. Then they had a Twitter Spaces meeting, which you can listen to, where Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Alex Jones, and I think Andrew Tate came on for a few minutes. He added nothing, but he wanted to be there because it's like, oh, big guys are talking. I'm going to come in here and talk about, free speech like it's some radical idea. But the point is, though, I think it was in that conversation, Alex Jones made clear that he had issued multiple corrections about the Sandy Hook thing and that it was all blown out of proportion and his words got twisted. And he made the very, very clear case. I don't want to go into it, but the Sandy Hook thing, I think it is the reason that Piers Morgan is angry. That's why he still is fucking going ape shit in the background while this is happening. But autistic screeching. but I think that it was cleared up, and it's only fair. I mean, the Taliban have a Twitter account. Why can't Alex Jones have his Twitter account back? So anyway, those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, they always go on about Sandy Hook as if it's the only thing Alex Jones has ever talked about in his 30-something years of broadcasting. They're making a mountain out of a miniature jar of shrimp paste called the Alex Jones was wrong jar.
Yeah.
Ignoring the actual mountain that is the Alex Jones was right jar. That jar is the real reason he's so persecuted and indeed prosecuted, and everyone knows that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, if that's how it works, if you make one mistake, one factual error in your reportings at any point in your long career, that you get unpersoned across all major social media platforms in an instant. If that's the case, then you can see why hypocrites cling to the whataboutism defense, because it's the only thing standing between them and the tidal wave of consequences they would face if the standards to which they hold their opponents were ever held to themselves. These are the people who went after Nick Sandmann for smiling. The same people just a couple of weeks ago tried race baiting their mobs of psychos into hating a Native American child for wearing face paint at a ball game. It doesn't matter how far up the progressive stack you are. It doesn't even matter if you're a child. If they can make you look racist or sexist, they will. They can't help themselves. They need the clicks. They're in the business of deliberately enraging their hopelessly misinformed audience and pointing them in the direction of any randomly selected man, woman, or child who gets on the wrong side of a photograph. These people they're scum. They're pond scum. They are professional parasites. They go to work in the morning, they have their coffee, they sit at their desk, and then they seek out lives to ruin, and then they ruin those lives. Every day. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes just, collaterally. But it's always the end result. Someone gets mobbed. They pick someone up, they cover them in shit to attract all the flies, and then they throw them in a gutter to be slowly eaten to death by the aforementioned flies. It's what millions of sociopathic gobshites do for a living and call it journalism. And those self-same assholes want Alex Jones yeeted from the internet forever because he did it once.
Yep.
Accidentally. Unbelievable. Unsmegging believable. Unbesmegging, leave-a-smegging bull. Personally, I would like the option where not even such ghoulish parasites like these are banned from social media like Twitter. I want them there. I want to see what lies they're telling today. I enjoy watching them get community noted. But at the same time, I can entertain the idea of also perhaps having another social media site that bans everyone who's ever made a mistake. A site that's strictly for individuals or organizations that have categorically never said anything false or misleading. It would have a total of 0 active users and God knows how many lurkers queuing at the door like it's Black Friday, wondering what on earth could be going on inside. And yeah, it's nothing. You can't see what's inside a site like that because nothing is what's in there, because everyone lies. Even AI lies. People lie accidentally on a regular basis. Alex Jones did it once. Meanwhile, you've got state-sponsored media machines lying every time they breathe out, and they're not just doing it to make money. They're doing it so they can send us to die in some war that has nothing to do with us. They're doing it so they can inject us with a science experiment that doesn't do shit except kill us. They're doing it so we'll send our kids away to get their genitals butchered on a slab like a fish. And they're charging Alex Jones $1 billion for what he's done. By that reckoning, the lies told and the lives cost by those lives by state propaganda over the years amounts to punitive damages of, I think it's in the quintillions. It's far more money than has ever existed or will ever exist. As such, we can go ahead and declare every government bankrupt. You all can go liquidate yourselves with your tail between your legs and let us have our planet back. I'd be up for that.
Superpowers, being honest, I'm eating our neighbors.
The really big problem with the whole debate about free speech and lies and truth and so on is this. Most of the people talking about it don't understand the concepts they're talking about. And when I say that, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in an argument with somebody on Twitter and they have treated a mistake as a lie, where they've referred to something that somebody has said as a deliberate falsehood, like as a deliberate lie, because the thing is not true, when it turns out that the individual really believed what they were saying. A lie is something that you know is not true. It's a deliberate act. It's never an accident. There's no such thing as an accidental lie. That's called a mistake, right? When you call someone a liar for making a mistake, you're fucking up. You are making a mistake as well. Once you learn the person has made a mistake and you continue to call them a liar after you know that they stated what they believed to be true at that time, that makes you the liar. That's the first thing. When we talk about free speech, there's not, all speech is free speech except political speech. No, it's the other way around. when you look at the Constitution of the United States, which is where a lot of people take the concept of free speech from, it specifically was created to protect political speech, to protect disagreement with the status quo, disagreement with the company line, where the company is the establishment, the U.S. government, the establishment media, and so on. That is the core value of free speech. Period. There is no exception to that, right? The only thing that possibly could be considered an exception is, I think, if somebody was dumb enough to argue that something that is criminal elsewhere, like planning a crime, doesn't become okay because you use speech to do it, right? Committing a crime doesn't become okay because you put it on display. So, for instance, image crimes, where the subject of the image is a crime victim, and the image is the crime, that doesn't become okay because free speech, right? But that's not criticizing your government either. That's taking advantage of someone's inability to refuse, or doing deliberate harm in order to force somebody to do something that they didn't want to do. And that's a much bigger deal. Anything that is not that, though, pretty much goes. It means that when you argue that it's not free speech if it's stupid speech. Well, yes, it is. People have the right to be stupid. It's not free speech if it's mean. Actually, yes, it is. People have the right to be mean, and you have the right to be mean back. And you also have the right to walk away from them or push them out of your life. And until they force you to listen against your will, they're not doing anything wrong. You can shut out any speech that you want to. There's no right to be heard. There's only a right to speak. There's no right to force other people to listen to you. There's only a right to speak. So if Musk decides to let somebody on that everybody hates, which obviously is not the case here, not everybody hates him, but if everybody did, if he was the worst villain, troll, whatever of Twitter, and everybody was like, oh God, not that guy, fine, block him, mute him. Don't read his tweets. Nobody has to read what he's posting. Nobody should be upset about this. Anybody that is upset about this is an idiot. Or a liar.
Speech
I guess
is
you have to decide whether it's a mistake or they know what they're talking about.
Speech is thinking, basically, and we can't discuss ideas if we're not allowed to talk about them. Otherwise, we just keep them to ourselves, and that doesn't really help much. And I think it is the goal of silencing people, is really to keep people from thinking, because if you don't hear a unique perspective on something, then you're just going to carry your own assumptions, or you're only going to have the perspectives that are approved. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about facts or opinions. You have to have, like, if you really want to be able to think about things, then you have to be receptive. And that means there has to be messaging that is out there that you can access. If there are people trying to prevent it, then you're not going to hear it. Alex Jones, like Mike said, he's right, like, most of the time, probably, at least when it comes to, like, what he reported on. He predicted 9/11. There's, like, video of him predicting it. He's talked frankly about the Israel-Palestine thing, which has been presented as a two-dimensional, oversimplified, let's say, story from both sides of it, whether you're on the Israel side or the Palestine side. And he's basically said, look, here's what's really going on, to my knowledge, right? He has been a force for good overall. But I mean, that should be obvious if you have taken enough time to watch, InfoWars. I mean, when he used to do it, I don't know if he still does or whatever, but I mean, I think overall his voice should be out there. I mean, remember when they first banned Alex Jones from YouTube? I said, because some people were like, well, he's crazy or he's a buffoon or whatever. I said years ago when it happened that more people will get banned. If you allow this, then it'll be whoever else. Because they'll use Jones as the pretense for whoever. And who else got banned off of YouTube? A lot of people did. Some of them more radical voices, but I didn't want them banned. People like well, I don't know if they got banned, but people like Coltane left, or was banned. Stefan Molyneux was banned, and that was his whole livelihood. I never wanted that, and he was. Why would they do that? Because he had some things to say that they didn't like, basically, and Jones is the same. But this isn't really about making the defense for Jones, because I don't think that's necessary. I've done it plenty. I want to give props to Musk because I think that he's acting in a very rational way, whereas because he had lost a child, I think it struck a nerve when he heard or was told that Jones has said these things about Sandy Hook, which is, again, it's oversimplified. You should look at the conversation he had with Musk, and Vivek was there supporting him and supporting free speech, which is why I like Vivek Ramaswamy as an aside. I think that it was good that Musk was like, this is the right thing to do, and he just did it. And I don't know if he was ever like a man that we weren't supposed to like. I know that he went to some World Economic Forum things a couple times. I don't know if he still follows those guys or what, but I think this is a good thing, and I will give credit where credit is due, regardless of how I feel about the person themselves. I think this is a good thing to do, and so I support this action. I'm glad that Musk did it, and I hope that he brings back a lot of people who have been banned. Some people are still angry about the fact that he didn't bring back, I don't know, their friend or whatever, but just, give it time or make a new account. I made a new account on X. It's Badger Arcade. My old account is still banned because I basically said that Nazis and communists are the same thing, and the commie/Nazis on Twitter got me banned. This was back when it was run by what's his name, the Al Qaeda looking guy, Osama bin tweeting. I forget his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the guy who used to run Twitter.
Jack, what's his name?
What was it?
Is Jack something?
Jack Dorsey. That's right. Jack Dorsey.
His last name is not Knuff.
Jack Dorsey. Yeah. but anyway, so yeah, I mean, if I think that Twitter has a bright future. I hope that because we're streaming on Twitter right now, I think that that and Rumble, which again I'm asking you guys to follow us on Rumble. Rumble is probably, I've been asking around for alternatives to YouTube, and I think Rumble is a superior one. So superior to YouTube in terms of its free speech stuff. It's technically it's a little behind still, and obviously it doesn't have the same user base, but that could change in time. So anyway, I support Musk's decision. I think it's great, and I'm glad that that Alex Jones is back on, and I hope that with him and the shit that Tucker's been doing, do you guys remember Coach Red Pill? Do you remember that guy?
Is he the same guy as the guy who's arrested in Ukraine right now?
Yes, it's the same
that guy.
Gonzalo Lira is his real name.
Coach, it's reality.
He's in a Ukrainian prison. Yeah, like a work camp or something. He's in a gulag, essentially. And Tucker Carlson spoke to his father about him, and they're trying to, Elon Musk saw that. I mean, it's crazy, dude. When you think about degrees of separation, okay, I am 2 degrees of separation away from Coach Red Pill because I know people who know him, and that puts me 3 degrees of separation away from Tucker Carlson.
Well, look, you and I have both met Count Dankula. He knows Alex Jones, and Alex Jones knows Elon Musk, and that's the whole fucking world, right? That's the main character in the universe.
It's crazy, right? Oh, and Deanna Lorraine, who I have her phone number. She used to be on InfoWars. She was like a recurring co-host or something. So crazy. Anyway, just weird how things work out, you know. But anyway, I am getting a little off a far field, but I like where things are going. I like that there are more people talking and having honest discussions that I think are very important, and it fills me with hope. I think it's white pilling to see that people are doing this, and the fact that the I don't know, whoever we're up against, the globalists, whatever it is, they are freaking out. I don't know if you know, but like yesterday. And I'm not saying it's connected, but yesterday, Steven Crowder was going to have Alex Jones on to talk about him being reinstated to Twitter. And that morning, Rumble was, I don't know if it was, it might have been, it was yesterday. Rumble was down. Like, I couldn't get on it. And it was like all morning. And I thought, well, and some people said it was a DDoS attack. I looked into it and everything. I went to Down Detector and I saw that it was like not even opening up for a lot of people. And it was right when Crowder was having Alex Jones on, because Crowder and Jones have been working together on stuff too. So anyway, I think it's interesting is all I will say to that. But let us know what you guys think about this in the comments. I think it's good news, and I'm happy that Musk did that. Let me look at your super chows really quick, and because I did get one from Meredith, our top G, and she says, HBR News for $5. Thank you, Meredith. HBR News number 435, honey for the Badgers. People focus so much on what Jones got wrong about Sandy Hook that they want to ignore, the legitimate points he was making about it, the problems that actually tend to show up in all other such incidents, the problems that, if addressed, might actually reduce such incidents. Yes, if you wanted to reduce those incidents, you might have paid attention to those things. And then I got Richard Bier gives us $5 and says, thank you, Richard. Did your new account on X come with a block from Steve Shives? You know, I never looked. I don't know. I never looked. I forgot about Steve Shives. Using sperm. I have no idea. Anyway.
Maybe we'll find out that Steve Shives is in jail in Taiwan any day now. That's the kind of random shit that can happen in this.
What are the odds, right?
I mean, it's easy to forget about him if he's got everybody blocked. You know, it's like it's easy to forget about the air too. You can't see it either.
You know, that's honestly, and Hannah, that's why I never block anyone, because I think if you could forget about them, and then you will miss if they ever have their redemption arc happen. You won't be there for it, and I think I think that is
here's when I block. There's a couple of different times. I get followed by a lot of porn bots. Like every time I say something about porn bots,
I'm not even that lucky.
Oh no! Every time I say anything about women and sexual accountability, they see women and sexual because that's what the algorithm is looking for, and boom, I get followed by another porn bot. And then if I miss that it's a porn bot, then it starts messaging me. You want to see my boobs? Like, no, if I want to see boobs, I've got a set. I can look at them in the mirror, okay? So I end up blocking all of those. But then the other one is there are certain types of anti-MRAs that they'll claim to not be feminist too. That's the funny part. But anti-MRAs that will block you and then quote mine you and then post stuff out of context and twist it a la Futrell and send people your way to waste your time. And I've had to block about 5 or 6 of those in my however many years. I think I've been on Twitter since like 2009. Anyway, in all that time, like 5 or 6 people I've blocked because of that. And one lady who was messaging me like 500 times a day. That got old.
Yeah.
Most of it was. Do you remember the guy that Mike made the chicken video, the chicken cartoon. I can't remember what it was called. For
It was
that
called
was
Chicken Madrasa, and
Yes,
it was
that
about
guy.
Manhood Academy.
yes.
Was that just one guy, or was it a guy with a thing? It was just one guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just one guy, but there was some stupid chick that kept messaging me his shit about Karen. And I'm like, this has already been addressed once. We don't need to talk about it again. I'm serious. She was contacting me like 500 times a day. She was tweeting at me, DMing me. I couldn't tweet anything or be in a conversation without replies from this woman. And she wouldn't just reply once. She would reply several times to the same tweet with the same shit. So, of course, I block when stuff like that happens. So my block list isn't very long. It's mostly populated by porn bots. But there's a few real people on it, and that's why.
Well, that makes sense. I'd block bots too. I mean, I have to do it on Telegram all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you guys think about this in the comments. We're going to move on to the next story. This is just a quick little follow-up. You guys may have heard about this. Douglas Mackey, you guys might know him as Ricky Vaughn on Twitter. He was the meme maker that was arrested for making a satirical Hillary Clinton voting poster. He's out of prison, but isn't free just yet. Douglas Mackey, better known online as Ricky Vaughn, has been released by the Second Circuit Court of Appeals until they hand down their ruling on the situation. Though free for the moment, Mackey is still facing 7 months of prison time should his appeal be denied.
Why are we getting so much good news this week? It's suspicious. It feels like a
the next one's good too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all is. I've got a bad feeling about this. Yeah, I should think this is just some judges and whatever, some legal officials or whatever, reconvening after whatever backlash might have blown in their direction since this story went viral. They're asking themselves if it's worth treading into the history books like this and all the gaslighting they'll have to do to try and keep their toes out of those history books for being one of the pivotal straws that broke the back of the First Amendment and plunged the United States into exactly what it was designed not to be. Or, on the other hand, do they quietly acquit the man and sort of gingerly pretend they didn't almost commit high treason just now, and then they'll face a brief backlash from some terminally online NPCs who can't go a day without human sacrifice in the name of preserving our infallible democracy and curing the world of all negative emotions that we deem negative at the time. I don't know, but I'm not going to start celebrating. Even if he was actually acquitted. Relieving news on top of very worrying news is not a combination that puts my mind at ease. A scoop of ice cream on top of a scoop of human feces is not a dessert that I am willing to eat. Nor underneath, or in any order. No, I will not start celebrating a win condition, even a temporary one, until someone hands me a dessert that has absolutely no traceable amounts of human feces in it. Don't even hand me a delicious pie that has one lone dingleberry of human shit in it. I will send it back, sir. I will not eat that. And I have a good mind to talk to your manager. No human shit in my food. Do you hear me? Afuera.
Afuera.
What, you mean like a little bit of shit? No, afuera.
Afuera.
You mean like just a little shot of a little shot glass full of boogers and cum? No, read my lips. Afuera. I want to punish
Actually,
criminals.
Mike, you're saying that really well. Afuera. Afuera's in the chat, guys.
I want you to punish criminals and only criminals.
Yes.
Not innocent, law-abiding citizens whose sense of humor happens to not suit your political party. Never do that, right? Not one. Got it? Zero. Afuera. And so on. Sorry for going off on this tangent, but I'm sick of consuming human shit, guys.
Yeah.
It's like it's a pet peeve of mine. Winds me right up, it does. Not a fan. Not an enthusiast. I err of the side of not it. I'd rather not. I think I've made my point. Afuera!
Afuera! Okay.
The tough thing about this is, you want to celebrate it. You want to say, hey, this is an indication that they're not going to send him back. Because I mean, if you look at how this works with appeals, a lot of times an individual that's been convicted of something, if they're trying to appeal their sentence, they have to do it from inside the jail. They have to show up in court in their orange jumpsuit and everything. Unless they get the right to wear street clothes in there. And I think it's more likely when it's somebody that's been convicted of a dangerous crime, then the prosecution turns around and argues, well, if we let this guy out and you don't overturn the conviction, then you've let a murderer out, or a robber, burglar, rapist, whatever the person was accused of. Whereas this guy's convicted of shitposting too aggressively, and as a means of insulting the other side. Like, I just, can you imagine? All right, especially like Gen Xers. Okay, go back to maybe 1990, when some of us were still in high school in 1990. Some of us were about to graduate. Like the next year. Some Gen Xers were in college. Maybe some were getting married. The internet was, you had to direct dial the other person's computer with a phone modem that made horrible noises until the connection happened, and it was all text back and forth. Can you imagine being told back then that somebody would be imprisoned for shitposting, and when shitposting gets explained, oh, it's a joke. They take a picture and they put a caption on it as a joke, like when you take a picture out of a magazine and turn it into a comic, a homemade comic, by putting text on it, writing on it, or cutting out text, like a collage that's supposed to be funny, and an inside joke between a lot of people. And I think we would have all lost our minds, right? Somebody going to jail for a joke.
Yeah.
Really? And here it is.
Well, yeah.
This guy went to jail for telling a joke. And the prosecution's argument is that you are too stupid to know he wasn't serious. That's it. That's the whole argument. Your Honor, my client, Your Honor, my client, the American people, right? Your Honor, this man needs to go to jail because the American people are stupid.
Yep. That's really what it is. But
that's it.
You know what? I think that if it
whole
weren't,
argument.
Yeah, it is. And if it weren't for people like in, I guess you could say, independent media reporting on it and like calling attention to it, even the Daily Wire, talked about it, I think that he could have silently just gone to jail and nobody would have known, because the mainstream media would not have reported on it, or they would have spun it in such a way to make it sound like it was actual, election tampering or something, because that's kind of the claim, right? But they wouldn't go into detail. So if it weren't for people talking about it and shining a light on it, I don't think he would have gotten as far as he has. I think they would have just thrown him in jail and not said anything. I mean, they have done it to other people. I've heard stories of other people who have been, thrown in like a hole without a trial or anything. And January 6th is an example, but it's not the only one. A lot of people that were there on January 6th are in jail now, and they didn't do anything. So anyway,
if the people of the United States ever get control of the United States back from the folks that have taken over the government, there need to be hearings.
Oh, absolutely.
And there need to be, like, we hear all the time about how, this when this administration gets overturned and the next one comes in, they're going to do something about all these terrible things. And every time, right, every single time, from before we were born, clear up till now, every administration that has done things they should not have done.
Yeah.
They'll have investigations and they'll have hearings, and everybody says, I don't remember, or that's not the way it happened, or we were justified because of this, or executive privilege, and everybody gets away with it, right?
Yeah.
The only person who doesn't get away with it is the one who did nothing wrong. All right, and that's it. There needs to be accountability that comes from the citizens and not the establishment, because the establishment doesn't have accountability and it doesn't hand down accountability. It just punishes when it's angry, right? So there has to be a situation where, and I don't care if it's elderly people like Nancy Pelosi or young people like Hunter Biden. There has to be full accountability, complete with the types of penalties that they are threatening the people who are trying to maintain freedom with.
Yeah. Hunter Biden is not young. He's older than me, I think.
Well,
AOC
compared to Nancy Pelosi, he is.
AOC.
Yeah,
is
but I
probably
mean,
better, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not sure AOC is all there though. Like,
Well,
she's the one person that I would be like, all right, everybody
and
needs
yet,
to be held
like
accountable.
Piers
but
Morgan, she has a job and she gets paid.
Yeah,
well.
I know. Imprisoning them is one thing. I think in her case, a mental health facility would be more in order, because I genuinely don't think she's all there. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, that's hilarious. No, I genuinely don't think she's all there.
Yep.
That's my genuine opinion, is that there is something mentally wrong with that woman.
Yep.
I think Nancy Pelosi is just a sociopath, but I think AOC is missing a few cards.
Perhaps that might make her useful. I mean, she was basically placed there by the Young Turks, so make of that what you will. But anyway,
it's her job to lie, much like for the rest of the Young Turks. And when it's your job to lie, the longer you do it, the more your age gets accelerated. You see how every president ages rapidly during their time in office, except Donald Trump. It's because it's their job to lie.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next story. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Again, I am hopeful. I think that it's a good thing that this was a story that was made big enough that I think the media had to do something. Again, if you look at what I was just saying, Gonzalo Lira, Coach Red Pill, Tucker Carlson reported on him, did an interview with Alex Jones. I think that if people are doing this, it makes change possible. So I'm hoping that, why am I forgetting his name? Douglas Mackey. I was thinking Ricky Vaughn from, if you guys ever seen the movie Major League, that's where Ricky Vaughn, that's what that comes from. Very funny movie. It's like a parody movie about a baseball team. Very funny shit. But anyway, I hope that it works out for him, and we will obviously let you guys know when we get more updates, because it's super important. All right, and I got some super chows, but first I want to say something, because I see a conversation going on in Rumble that I really have to respond to. So Mr. 0303 said the Alex Jones game is my game of the year. And Mangaka92 replied and said easily game of the year. And then he said New World Order Wars greater than Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm going to add to that is the Baldur's Gate 3 as it stands, yes, it's inferior. But if you watch my stream playing Baldur's Gate 3 over on Honey Badger Arcade, I have made a full party of nothing but badgers, and it's a much better game for it. None of this woke, trash, diverse NPCs. It's all like, it's Karen, it's Hannah, it's Allison, it's Prim, it's Mike, it's me. And it's badass. So check it out over on Honey Badger Arcade on YouTube. And you'll see like what the game as it is meant to be played, Baldur's Gate 3. But anyway, and then I got some super chows. So I'm gonna put those up, and if you guys want to give us a super chow, go to feedthebadger.com/just the tip and feed Badger Chan. Okay, so Richard Bier gives us $5 and says, in the Houston mayoral race, one candidate actually told her constituents to vote for her on the wrong day. So Houston doesn't have Sheila Jackson Lee as the mayor. But she should know. Like, that wasn't a joke, was it? No, she told her constituents. So she messed up. Okay. Thank you, Richard. That is hilarious. And
well,
then
that is kind of a
one.
disqualifying factor there when you fuck up that badly.
Yeah, you kind of deserve
to
it,
get
right?
voted out
You
of
shouldn't
office,
win
right?
elections if you don't even know
or
what
not
day
get voted
election
in.
day is. So. And then I got a super chat from an anonymous person for $5, and they said, Alex Jones isn't honest about Israel and Palestine. If you want the truth about apartheid Zionist Israel, follow Ryan Dawson on Rumble. Dawson used to be on YouTube, but his channel was nuked. He's also back on Twitter. His Twitter handle is @RyeLiberty. If you want the truth about 9/11 and Israel, Alex Jones won't cover the dancing Israeli agents that celebrated the 9/11 attack, and he won't touch the Israeli attack on the USS Liberty Navy technical research ship. Ryan Dawson also covered Jeffrey Epstein long before Jones, and Ryan isn't afraid to bring light to the fact that Epstein was basically sponsored by Israel to blackmail politicians, celebrities, and world leaders. Alex won't tell you about how evil Israel is. Well, that's fine. I still support Alex Jones having the right to be on the platform. And I think this only basically further emphasizes why I think that people should have free speech, because I don't want the guy that you're telling me about, Ryan Liberty, to be banned either. He should be able to make those statements. So I will let that lie. And again, send us a super chow if you want by going to feedthebadger.com/just-the-tip. So, all right, let's get into the next bit of news, which could also be good. Megan Rapinoe, a renowned figure in women's soccer, has built a legacy beyond sports through exceptional skills on the field and fearless activism. Recent controversy arose when Riley Gaines was named Woman of the Year, sparking debate over the legitimacy of the accolade. Supporters of Gaines emphasized her achievements and the recognition of emerging talents, while Rapinoe's followers expressed disappointment, highlighting her consistent impact and years of dedication. This controversy challenges Rapinoe's established reputation and prompts a reevaluation of recognition criteria in sports, encouraging a discourse on acknowledging both established figures and rising talents. While momentarily impacted, Rapinoe's reputation remains strong, grounded in her significant contributions to sports and society. But let me read it as it is written here. So Riley Gaines has been given the Woman of the Year award, and people are mad that it did not go to Megan Rapinoe. And Riley Gaines, if you don't know, she was like, aside from being an athlete, she was, let's say she was in the front lines in the fight against trans women in women's sports. And I think that is what really is, making a big change. Now, we can talk about what we think about trans women in women's sports, but I'm just glad that Megan Rapinoe lost the title. So I was reading a summary of this article from catsaresweet.com, apparently is a woman's website. So I don't know, but I still think it's good news.
Oh, shit. Is that really the name of the website?
Yeah. catsaresweet.com.
Oh,
yeah.
That's that's fabulous. The crazy cat lady image of feminists and social justice warrior women everywhere is confirmed. all the times that I sent that meme of the pregnancy test that comes back cat lady to feminists on Twitter are vindicated. They always get mad. I don't even have a cat. Like you don't yet. But yeah, of course it would be on a cat blog.
I know, right?
Oh shit! Oh, fucking asthma attack. But here's the thing: how do we know either one of these women? Like, so we have two athletes. It has to be between two athletes. Is this a woman of the year? Is this a just an athletic thing, like a sports thing, or is it? Because I never paid attention to this before. I don't think I've ever. This isn't like Time Magazine, right?
No,
Is this Time Magazine? Okay,
no, there
'cause,
is
that would be kind of a.
yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with athletes. It's just that there are people who do things that have a much more direct impact on people's lives than like watching athletes do their thing. It's quite it'd be quite upsetting to think that Woman of the Year went to an athlete and not a scientist, or
Yeah.
a practitioner of medicine, or a somebody that's done great work getting food to people in a place where people don't have food, or something along those lines. But if it's just an athletic thing and it was between athletes and that's it, that's a different story. Maybe it's female athlete of the year, but they call her Woman of the Year. In that case, the whole argument about trans women in sports and everything notwithstanding, Gaines did what you do when you're engaging in activism to try to get legislation passed and everything. You don't just go on media outlets and complain about it. You go straight to legislators. And she was fortunate she got to actually go in and speak to legislators. She went into congressional hearings, which you don't always get invited or get permission if you ask to do that. So that's really kind of a neat thing right there. What did Rapinoe do? Did she
Megan
maybe save
Rapinoe
somebody's
was part of the
cat from a
Olympic soccer
tree?
team, but she, I think she like missed like a special penalty kick at some point
But-
recently and lost the championship.
Yeah, I just her significant contributions to
Well,
society is that what contributions?
Being a feminist woman in women's sports, like she
Yeah,
was basically
having
like
pink
lifted
hair.
up as a kind of
or purple
icon or
whatever.
something. She and basically her existence in women's sports is supposedly like a thing for women's rights. But Riley, I think it really what it comes down to is, okay, first of all, so I did a little looking around, and there aren't a lot of people. Some people are like, there's like Snopes is fact checking it, and they're claiming that it's satire. But then there's other websites like this usacommunity.live is saying that there is this title for an athletic woman of the year, and that Riley Gaines claimed it because she was doing more for women's rights, because she was fighting for, against trans women in women's sports. So it's basically feminism fighting feminism. And
Yeah, it is
feminism
basically
won.
feminism fighting
So,
feminism. But
yeah, it
at
is,
the same
ultimately.
time,
I mean, I don't dislike Riley Gaines. I don't, she seems like probably not someone who would call herself, like she's not like an activist type. I think Megan Rapinoe is
here's
more
my
so.
point. Here's my point. Right. So let's say you have a gas station, and there's a competition for employee of the year, and they have male employee of the year and female employee of the year at the gas station.
Yeah.
And the two qualifications are that you do your job very well, and also that you contribute something to the environment in the workplace, that you've done something in the workplace that isn't necessarily part of your job description, but makes it a better place to work, or makes it a better place to shop, or whatever. And you have employee number one, who kind of sucks at their job and hasn't done anything to contribute to the work environment. And you have employee number two, who is pretty good at her job, actually, and also had a habit of bringing in snacks to share with coworkers to make the break room feel more hospitable. And some people get mad that the first one didn't win because she's a known social justice warrior. That's just political. It has absolutely nothing to do with the criteria for the contest. The criteria being contributing to sports and contributing to society. So if, no offense, you lose to a high school team and then, go on to not bring home the gold, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Versus, you actually do very well in your particular sport, and then on top of that, you engage in public activism and you demonstrate civic participation and do so in a way that is highly visible to young people of your demographic, which, her demographic is women. So young women now, if they want to participate in civic discourse and, civic activism where they're engaging with people who are actually making law and policy, they know what to do because they see this happening. Like, that's a huge contribution.
Yeah.
And it just, the sour grapes thing isn't just sour grapes. It's sour grapes because it's good guy, bad guyism. It's my political perspective versus your political perspective. They might as well have said, this woman shouldn't win because we think she's like a Republican, and this woman should win because we think she's like a Democrat. That's essentially the complaint. And that's what feminists are doing there. This woman shouldn't win because we think she's like an anti-feminist. This woman should win because we think she's like a feminist. She'll toe both sides of the line. And this other woman is going to take a stance. And you can't do that on this issue.
Yeah. Yep.
So
well,
that's when you see that. And of course, the other end of it is I think having seen Gaines on video and everything, she strikes me as a pretty clean cut person. Just girl next door type. And
she was definitely like a pretty clean cut, like you said, athletic.
Yeah,
maybe she's muscular but feminine.
Right, like a small town type. She might not be from a small town, but she would fit in very well in one. And I think that would piss off a lot of like feminists, especially the younger gals that have invented bimbo feminism, which is a thing, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like our generation of feminists would have been so pissed off at that, but they're accepting it. But in any case, that's they're gonna hate her because she seems very nice. She seems very clean cut. She seems, very like once upon a time she would have been described as all American. That's probably bad words now.
Yeah,
right?
Those are definitely bad words.
Yeah, and so they're gonna hate her. They're gonna hate her.
Yeah.
They're gonna hate
She's the
everything
wrong kind
about
of
her.
woman. Yeah.
Right. She probably her hair is probably the natural color that she was born with her hair being and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're gonna hate her.
Yeah. All right. Well, apparently it was the NCAA that there's like the Collegiate Athletic Association, the National Collegiate Athletic, that
so it is
her
it's
as
an
Woman of the
athletic
Year.
thing.
Yes, and I guess it's I mean Megan Rapinoe. It's funny, they were both up against males at one point, and Rapinoe lost. So Richard Bier, speaking of which, Richard Bier gives a super chow and says, Megan Rapinoe stunningly and bravely lead her soccer team to defeat against a team of middle school boys? Yes, that was her. And she was the one that was arrogantly saying, I deserve this. So she doesn't apparently deserve this other thing, but it's fine. I thought it was funny, and it's always nice to see people like Megan Rapinoe get taken down a peg. But we will endeavor to move on to the next story. So let us know what you guys think about this in the comments. Before we get into the next story, there is a super chow that I want to read. Somebody sent me this yesterday, and I'm going to read the super chow again, just so that we see, like, we have a little bit of context, because I got this message and it was basically asking me to report on this story. So Dane gave us $5 yesterday and says, Bryan Johnson just released a video covering his legal battle with his ex-fiancee, who is suing him for $9 million. Bryan Johnson is a billionaire that went viral about a year ago because he is spending millions a year on his anti-aging routine. He is one of the health fitness channels that I follow. He's done a lot to help people, and he makes all of his research and health routine free and available to the public. This bitch only wants to steal money from him by making false accusations. She's trying to Me Too him because he is a high-value man worth $400 million and didn't marry her parasitic ass. I would jump on this topic while it's hot. He's very popular on YouTube. He has over 600,000 subscribers. Fuck marriage. It's a scam that parasites feed off of. Go MGTOW. And there are articles about this story, but they're not favorable to Bryan Johnson. So I'm going to read a summary of one of them. And then he did put out a video, and it's like 15 minutes long, but there is an entire transcript. I can go through the transcript and find, the relevant parts if we have to. So I will read the summary. So tech mogul, Bryan Johnson, let me just put this up here. Known for his extravagant efforts to maintain a youthful body, faces a bombshell lawsuit from ex-fiancee Taryn Southern. The suit alleges that Johnson, 45 years old, was a serial cheater who dumped Southern during her breast cancer treatments. Southern accuses Johnson of being manipulative and controlling, pressuring her into accepting his philandering lifestyle. Johnson, in a separate filing, accuses Southern of extortion. The lawsuit details a tumultuous relationship, including Johnson's alleged flings, demands for Southern's sexual history, and his refusal of financial support after her cancer diagnosis. The legal battle involves claims of breached agreements and mandatory arbitration provisions. Southern seeks unspecified damages, while Johnson's lawyers insist on resolving the matter through arbitration. And let me look at the video, because so it's kind of a...
Well, before you get into that, I got one question.
Okay.
Do they live in California?
You know what? I don't know. Probably.
Okay. It makes a difference because California has palimony.
Uh-huh.
Whereas if they live in, for
Los
instance,
Angeles.
if you lived in Ohio,
they're in Los Angeles.
Okay, so they're in California. That makes a big difference. Okay, so go on.
Okay, so anyway, there is. So essentially, we're at a bit of a, it seems to be like nothing is proven yet. It's hearsay, but he basically put out a video where he claims that she is trying to extort him for money. I mean, it's not, insane to think that that's possible, but I don't see strong evidence either way, except that, let me see. I'll read some of this. This is from his letter, I guess. Generally, as I explain the details, so if you bear with me, I'll go through the entirety of what has happened over the past 2.5 years. My former fiance threatened to make scandalous public accusations about me unless I paid her $9 million in a week. 2 years later, a judge ordered her to pay me $500,000 for the fees I had spent defending my innocence, the dark underground accusation economy. Okay, so how did this happen? It started on April 6, 2021. That morning, I was telling you about with a 133-page letter from her attorneys, a quote, redacted, is willing to settle all her claims against Mr. Johnson and his companies for $9 million. Okay, so maybe I could just play some of this. Let me share this with you guys. and we will take a look at it. So hold on while I put this on the screen here. And you guys join this, and then you'll be able to see it. And I will start it from about here. So what is that? So like 3 minutes in. Okay, go up. Yeah, here we go. All right, I'm gonna play it.
This was surprising because after over a year of our relationship ending, for the first time ever, she was accusing me of a wide range of, quote, abusive and pervasive behaviors. Through her attorneys, she threatened to make her allegations public if I didn't pay her that $9 million in 1 week. Receiving this, WTF. What claims, what wrongdoing? Is this April Fool's? Am I being punked? I am so confused. This is a person whom I'd once had the most beautiful relationship with, and now she was unrecognizable to me.
Yeah, he said pervasive, but he meant perverse. Sorry, that was
Right.
like, he misspoke on that. Perverse.
I double-clicked on the email and I started reading the letter, and the contents were shocking. I felt paralyzed. What was even more shocking was that my fiance and I had signed a separation agreement a year earlier when ending our relationship. We both agreed to walk our separate ways. It was clear that she and her attorneys were gambling that they would put enough pressure on me of my reputation being tarnished publicly that I would pay up and settle privately. She was emboldened by lawyers blinded by their greed to take advantage of her vulnerabilities and exploit my wealth. After over 6 months of threatening to destroy me, with more serious allegations in her, quote, podcast, a book deal, and a potential TV series, the attorneys who sent the demand letter never filed a complaint or produced a single piece of evidence to support the allegations. Then she got new attorneys. Seeing that threats alone were insufficient, they filed a case in court and tried to make me look like a monster. I successfully moved part of the case into arbitration, where we had agreed to resolve any disputes. As their legal losses mounted, they became increasingly unhinged in what they were willing to say. Sadly, global media ate it up. On March 31st, 2023, after extensive motions, depositions, and discovery, the arbitrator dismissed all her causes of action that had been referred to arbitration and ordered that my accuser pay me $500,000 to reimburse attorney's fees I'd been forced to spend defending my innocence. The ruling and award were confirmed by an active Superior Court judge on September 29th, 2023. After years of litigation, the corroborating evidence my accuser had of any of my accused wrongdoings, nothing. Not a single thing. In considering my accuser's attempt to invalidate the separation agreement she had signed, the arbitrator, a well-respected retired judge, pointed out that my accuser's, quote, undisputed conduct and testimony refute her claims. In other words, my accuser's own evidence contradicted her own story. This is noteworthy as my accuser's day job is chief storytelling officer at an implantable medical device company where trust is life and death. This entire thing has been bizarre and surreal. My accuser's attorney were sanctioned by the judge, a severe reprimand that courts reserve for truly egregious behavior, for making, as the judge wrote, quote, serious allegations factually and legally baseless and frivolous, unquote. Her lawyers were ordered to pay the court a fine of $2,500. In our settlement discussions, I insisted her attorneys pay some of what she owed for their complicitness. It would have been so easy to relent and quietly make this go away. That's what nearly everyone does, but I am not guilty, and they gave me no choice but to spend 2 years litigating to defend my innocence.
I think that's enough. I think you guys got the ballpark. So he was with this woman for a while. They broke up. She tried to essentially get whatever she could out of him. She made allegations. She brought on lawyers. And he decided to make this public. Do you want to hear more of this, or do you think you've heard enough?
Well,
of it?
it's actually there's some of the stuff he's already said. I want to comment on because
go ahead.
So the thing that I was actually worried about was that they didn't have any previous thing that she was trying to undermine. The fact that there was an agreement already that she signed, that's a good thing, because if she just came out of the blue and went after him after a breakup, like he'd be at risk, and without something that she signed. It's possible, because it is California. I hate to say this, but I mean,
I'm sure
it is California.
Not exactly fair.
Well, it's not that. It's California is a little crazy, and the legal system, the establishment in California is a little crazy. It's like AOC would make a lot more sense coming from California than anywhere else. She's in New York. I don't get it.
New York's a little second.
New York's a little crazy too, but California is crazy. It's a whole different kind of crazy. And there's the California aspect of it, and then there's the I think that too many people have done too many drugs, and too many drugs have ended up in the groundwater in California, and too many Californians don't realize they've been drugged or shit like that.
Yeah,
because the state is just fucked up. Some of the things that have happened
more
in
than
that state.
fluoride in their water.
Right. So in any case, there's always the worry that there's going to be some judge who is just completely off his rocker or her rocker that's going to be like, well, you guys had a relationship, therefore you owe her, and not even worry about any of the allegations, whether they're true or false or anything. And of course, feminists have established that not giving a woman money when she wants it is abuse.
Yep.
I wish I could say that's not true, but that is true. And they call it economic abuse. And it used to be limited to if you controlled a woman's finances and prevented her from meeting her needs by preventing her from having the financial opportunity to meet her needs, that would be economic abuse. But now it's to the point where if she wants to buy a dress and it's not in the budget, if you don't make sure she has a way to buy it, that's economic abuse, right?
Yep.
That's how bad it's gotten. If you have a woman who's unscrupulous in your life, she can take you to court for having physical limitations, right? She could take you to court for not being able to produce blood from a turnip, and that's California is sort of the center of that. So there is that.
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact that he doesn't appear to have done anything wrong, like there doesn't, unless there's some evidence that's not being talked about or shown here, I can't see that this guy did anything he shouldn't have done. And even if everything she has said, everything she's accused him of that we've seen here, if he cheated, if he didn't give her money when she had cancer, if he was an asshole, complete and utter asshole, if their relationship was tumultuous, she didn't leave during all of that? She didn't break up with him at that time? Like is she not an adult?
The guy who sent me the original super chow about this story, he just sent them another super chow. I'm gonna read it. He says that for $5, thank you, Dane. If I remember correctly from watching the video, he made her donate the money to cancer research. he didn't even take the 500,000.
Well, that's nice and everything, but even that, in my opinion, like if he had kept the money, that's fine too. It's just none of the things that he did, that he didn't hold her against her will. He didn't kidnap her and stick her in the basement and say, "You're going to listen to me, be an asshole,
Right.
and I'm not going to give you any money. And you, by the way, I'm going to cheat on you the whole time you're locked in my basement." No, they were not married. She didn't have to divorce him. She could just walk away. If you're engaged and you're not married, you could just walk away. At least if you're a woman. There's no anything that you have to do. The most that she had to do was sign a paper because California has its palimony thing.
Well, don't
and
forget,
she didn't
she's
even
also
have to agree to that.
Yeah, and don't forget, she's also getting a book deal and a TV series out of this.
Well, she
mean,
could have
that's a bit-
said no to that deal too. She could have said, fuck you, I'm going to get money out of this.
I think that's. I mean, it's Hollywood, like.
Right?
It's
but
California.
I mean, that's so. Yeah, she can even keep the ring. Like you decide you're not going to marry a guy, you don't necessarily have to give back the ring. Like, but there have been lawsuits over that too. No, I'm not going to marry you, but I'm going to keep this ring, this diamond ring. In fact, I'm going to pawn it. Like that happens, right?
Yep.
That so. I just hopefully they get a good judge. Hopefully the judge is intelligent and wise and not a complete and utter dipshit. And hopefully the judge is like, no, lady, this is bullshit. Obviously you are already sanctioned for this once. We're going to sanction you for again. And if you continue this vexatious litigation, then we're going to have fined against you for vexatious litigation. Which actually you have to bring a civil suit for that. I guess how I know. But everybody knows about the 7 years in hell case. That's how that case was resolved. It was resolved by bringing a civil suit for vexatious litigation. And there's actually articles about that case in feminist publications because they are terrified that can be done. When a woman just brings case after case after case against a guy and then drops him or doesn't show up or loses over and over again and then gets a restraining order by saying, he's dangerous and I'm terrified of him. And the evidence is that I have accused him falsely now like 17 times. And obviously that makes him dangerous. And they actually give her another restraining order based on that. Which happened, and so of course that may be his only route here. He may have to go after her for vexatious litigation, malicious prosecution, something along those lines, and get a judge to say no, you can't file anything against this man again without my permission. And if you come to me, you can get in trouble for it. If you come to me without a very good excuse, you can actually get in trouble for it. Because that's basically what being labeled a vexatious litigant does. You aren't allowed to proceed any further against your target without the permission of the judge that finds you to be a vexatious litigant. And if you ask for permission and you don't have a very legally justified reason to bring it up again with the judge, then you can actually get sanctioned for that.
Yeah.
It's more vexatious litigation. So in any case, I that's what he's probably going to end up having to do. But from what I see here is I see a woman who realized that she could have gotten more money out of this guy than she got and regrets not being a cunt, and decided to try to undo her reasonability and be a cunt for money. And we'll see if the court's going to put up with that or if the court's going to tell her to fuck off.
Yep. Well, I hope he beats this thing. I mean, it looks like he's got all the facts on his side. And again, not surprising. I mean, it's like the perfect storm, You have a billionaire guy who spends a lot of money on his I guess he's got an anti-aging thing, but he also owns some. He owned a company that he sold to PayPal, so he's got his hands in a lot of different what do you call it, bowls? I don't know, what are they, fingers and pots, I guess, I don't know. But anyway,
Pies,
what
whatever,
I'm saying is he's got a lot of money. He is well to do, so that's one thing that attracts or at least tempts women. And then on top of that, he's in California, where the laws are such that they can be used against him, but also he is in a place where there are probably more people that will leech off of you and try to take your shit. I think that in places as affluent as that, you're gonna have more of these kind of parasitic relationships. I'll put it that way. And I know, because I've heard, I don't know people in Hollywood like that, but I know people who work in the area of Hollywood, and they know people like Lisa Brighton, for example, and they talked about how bad it is. And I think you guys know, you can see it, how dirty they do each other in that town, and not just in the entertainment industry, but just all of the people with money. It's a bunch of places where people say shit they don't actually mean to each other because they're trying to get in good with them. And you're gonna have stuff like this. It's just not a good situation. Anyway, I hope that Mr. Johnson, works it out. And it's just a lot. It's a lot. I hope he makes it. So, man, if you want to tell us your story, you're welcome to come on our show. Tech mogul Bryan Johnson. I'm fully not expecting that, but I will always put it out there. Alice Jones, you're welcome to come on the show whenever you want.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but
destroy the child, corrupt them all.
Anyway,
it would definitely have to be a non-YouTube show if we had him on. But what this
I
does.
Guess so. But we are on Rumble.
we are on a bunch of other platforms.
And I think it would be a big hit. And I bet he would have a lot. I think he would have more useful things to say about men's issues than you'd probably expect. So.
Oh, I bet he has all kinds of. Isn't he paying child support and stuff?
I don't know.
Or I can't remember whether he's divorced or he's supporting kids as a as the breadwinner of a family. But I know he has kids.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's divorced.
I
remember feminists making fun of his testimony in divorce court. But in any case, this story, guys, serves as a reminder. If you're going to take the risk of getting into a relationship with a woman, pay attention to everything about her, and think about it from the standpoint of, if she was a dude, is this a dude you would get into a business relationship with, where he's allowed to get out of it anytime he wants with no penalty, but you can't? And even if he leaves the relationship, he can still take your responsibility to him, with him, and hold you accountable. That's the type of relationship that you end up in with a woman. Is that she can leave the relationship and still expect you to hold up your end of it financially forever. So and she can be taken seriously with that expectation, and in many cases the courts will agree with her. So you have to be very careful and really seriously vet for character. And if something she does would be really sus in terms of her personal accountability, if she was a dude, it is when she's a woman.
Yep. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap it up there and go into the patron show to look at this Piers Morgan article, which I'm sure is going to be very enlightening. He's going to make a very rational case for why Elon Musk is wrong about Alex Jones, and couldn't be more wrong than about Alex Jones. And I look forward to that.
I will shoot fireballs from my eyebrows.
So if you want to join us, go to feedthebadger.com and set up a monthly subscription. $5 a month will get you into our Discord, where you'll be able to watch all the additional content. And if you give it higher levels, you could even be in the conversation with us live. So
You can actively watch Mike shoot fireballs from his eyebrows.
yes, you can actually actively see it happen in real time. I think that's
And
worth the
lightning
money.
from my ass.
So anyway, yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up there. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the Patreon show. If you guys like this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on today's video, and please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thanks guys so much for coming on today's episode of HBR News. Shout out to the Rumble Gang, and we will talk to you all in the next video.
Men's right activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.